My apologies. I thought it was getting cool, so hopefully you're still watching. Hopefully you're still chiming in. Part 1 is on Facebook. We'll call this part 2. The noise is not your holdup as much as the position and the permission you're giving for that noise to be in your head, to be in your house. This is the noise. This is the noise that I allowed, and no doubt you're allowing. I see you guys chiming back in. Thanks. Sherry, it's so good to see you're watching, sweetie. The noise we allow is our acceptance of where we are. It's this perceived willingness and tolerance of who I allow to speak into my life. Do you realize people that just try to protect, well, I'm just trying to protect you. Well, that's good to a sense, but you'll know in your heart when it's time to make room. And you that are chiming back in, be sure if you tag this and send it to somebody, tell them watch part 2. That was all my bad. I'll figure this out one year. But this noise, stop tolerating. Stop tolerating, you know. If people are bold enough to give you their opinion, trying to keep you where you are, then be bold enough to let them know, I'm making room for the new. And this noise is literally the meditation of negative things that you've come to know as normal. You keep talking about it. You keep meditating on it. You keep thinking about it. And it's like, oh my God. Well, I'm believing God's going to do it. God ain't going to do squat. Do you hear me? God is not going to do squat. Even Jesus had to clear out the noise before a miracle can happen. God will not step on what we allow. He said, I won't share that glory with anybody. You know, I've heard people say for years, well, I've prayed for 20 years about... No, you've worried for 20 years. That's why nothing's happening. Because you won't quiet the noise. Your prayer life can become a noise if you don't know how to pray. Ooh, that reminds me too. I'm on a roll this morning. There is a brand new series, and if you've ever emailed the ministry, it's going to be flashed out to you probably in the next 48 hours. The brand new series. Good Lord, I'm pumped about it. It's called Finally, Prayer That Works. And it talks about the prayer of authority and what intercessory prayer actually is. And all of my intercessor prayer friends, please don't get offended at me. But we need to understand what intercessory prayer is. It will be available. If you want the CDs, they can be shipped to you. It will have a download link. As soon as you get that email, my God, you need that. Prayer is no longer boring. I taught that at my buddy's church in Indiana not long ago. And it is eye-opening. It is revolutionizing. It is energizing. And so there's a lot of stuff. But if you're praying wrong, prayer can become a noise in your house. So, well, Mark, okay, I realize I need to get rid of some stuff that I've been eating on for years because God's wanting to bring me something new, but He can't bring the new until I clean out the barn. The barn is your mind. The barn is what you've learned to be acceptable and you just put up with because it gets you by. It's called the get by mentality. How do I make room for what God's got for me? Well, you've got to be bold enough to accept you believe there's more for you in life. Look at the ruler Jairus. I mean, that's a pretty bold move, because back then the people of the temple, the scribes, the Pharisees, the rulers of the synagogue, Jesus was not the guy you wanted to even allude to, you were watching or listening to. And so this ruler boldly went out to Jesus in the middle of a religious crowd, and he was a recognizable man. And he just didn't care. He was fed up. He was fed up with this. You've got to get to the place you're fed up with it, and then accept the willingness to move some things out. Well, Mark, how do I move them out? Cut them off by refusing to meditate on them. Cut them off by refusing to just worry about it. Worry is getting you nowhere. Your barns are still holding things that should have gotten rid of years ago. You've got to give yourself a break. This is how you make room. Give yourself a break from people and voices that accept where you are and try to keep you there. You've got to be willing to offend, even if you have to, in order to make it clear you're not going to tolerate noise anymore. And then expect something big. B-I-G. Expect something big to happen. So that was it. Technical errors and all. I went a little longer, but there was so much to say. Again, if you want the MP3 downloads of the monthly partner CD, sign up as a partner. Be sure and get signed up as a partner. Go to markshellministries.com. Now, not just everybody has access to those. Those are directed to the covenant partners of the ministry. You'll get a card in the mail. If you don't get a card, email MSM, Mark Shell Ministries, MSM partner 777 at gmail.com. And if you can't remember that, just email the old Mark Shell Ministries at gmail.com. Just one line, I want the partner links, and we'll have your email that will be compiled, and then starting in June you'll get an email and you'll go through that link and boom, there's your order. So anyway, I've held you all long enough. Thank you so much for your support. That's how I travel and minister and hopefully help people. So I want to celebrate you already for the Holy Spirit talking to you and say, hey, that was yesterday's blessing. There's time to clear the barn. So I'm going to ask you to start making room for brand new miracles. And that's exactly what I have done, and I encourage you to do. So let's go on this journey together. Be sure and watch part 1 of this if you haven't already. And I certainly appreciate you all tuning in, chiming in. I will see you next Sunday morning at 9 o'clock. You all have a blessed day and clean those barns out.